the research part, but not the research part, but the design research part is well developed in the design phase. What do we mean by that? After starting to conceptualize the idea, the student has looked at other examples, similar examples, or concepts about that specific idea. So the design research is used for the development of the design idea. Production and finish will be a little bit different from previous semesters because we don't have that much mockups or models or even prototypes. But let's say all the tangible outcomes of the products, let it be models, mockups, or others, are they look fully finished. They are done with the high attention to details, and the last two, like excellent selection of material, this is more related for the real production and well-suited justification of production methods. But here you can think about all the effort and attention put into physical model making, so to say. The last criterion is also very important, equally important. Regardless of the first three, the student actually illustrates that she has a good command of the project. So she knows what she has done. She knows why different decisions are taken. She can justify why she ended up at this specific product or specific proposal. The presentation the student shows us contains impressive amount of an excellent quality of textual, visual, and schematic information about the project. So we are not only expecting to see a model of the product and like several sentences about it. We expect that the text and the visuals, these can be photographs or photo montages or videos or whatever, however you have chosen to present it or represent it, that they support each other and makes us understand the project very well. The student is fully aware of the shortcomings. One of the missing attributes of design students and later designers is that not to be able to evaluate your own work. That person is kind of clueless about whether she has done something magnificent or something really terrible. So we expect you to be aware of the shortcomings of your project. So you shouldn't be too overmining or too undermining of your project. You should be able to tell us that these and these parts of the project are actually quite good and strong, and you have certain shortcomings which are this and that. The student can take criticism very well and respond accordingly. When asked a question, the student does not take this personally and starts to defend herself, but takes it as a question, as it intended, and tries to answer that. If she doesn't know the answer, she might as well say, I don't know the answer. So you don't have to try, please don't try to justify your shortcomings with other reasons like unreal alibis or anything. And the student can describe the design and production processes very accurately. So this is also related to documentation, whether verbally or schematically. Uh, Describe the design and production process very accurately. So either schematically or verbally, you can explain how this all process has went. So this is different from the grade you give to development and process. The development and process is the quality of the process and the amount of development throughout the design phase. and the presentation. In the presentation part, you are grading the how well this process is documented in the presentation. So 5 being the highest, we expect you to grade everyone from 1 to 5, and please don't be too afraid or too reckless about grading. Try to be just. Don't worry, it will not be counted equally. We just want to have an idea about your evaluation of the project. So it will affect your grades, but not as much or much less than honors and my grades. Let's each of us also share our video so that the presenter really feels that jury vibe, so to say. So he or she is not talking to empty rectangles. And during your presentation, you can do anything. You can share your screen if you want, or you can. Also, one last thing to mention is that you have the full responsibility of your project. Whatever you have talked with us, or whatever comments we gave or critic we gave on your project, at the end, the decision was all yours. So you should take responsibility for it, and don't say things like you have wanted it this way, and so I did it like that. I mean, we will deny that we ever said something like that. Okay, Boycan, are you ready? Could you share your videos as well? Others, Bengi, Buket, Umut, Can, İrem, Müge, Ceyda, Pelin, Sidar, Dilara, İren, Damla, Demet, Esra. Ve sihir yapıyormuşum. İsimlerini söyleyince videoları geliyor. Erdem, Dilara.
Gecekondu are buildings that are created around a need quickly. They are makeshift and hastily put. However, they can stand the test of time. From the basic structure materials to the redundant accessories, everything is created around needs when building. Can we make domestic objects that use these properties of Gecekondu? This is my statement. And after I wrote the statement, I started to make a research on Gecekondu. How are they built? Why are they built? When did they start building, etc. And I noted some things. First of all, it's not made by an architect or any kind of construction company. They are hastily put and made by materials that can be easily reached. Hırtavat. They are not very complicated or sophisticated, and they are gathered around the needs. And by needs, I mean the general needs of human, like sleeping, getting rest, eating. So their rooms are decided on that, how many rooms they need. I started to think, how can I adapt this to domestic life? I thought maybe we can make furnitures like Gecekondus, depending on what we need at that moment. And later we can just change it or trash it. So expandable furniture just for our needs, or maybe we can make it a little bit more advanced, like constant. So I started to gather the materials they use on Gecekondus, like bricks, wooden beams, irons, etc. You can see them on my sketches. I gathered the materials. You can see, I hope. I decided to go for a kit for building makeshift furniture. Here's my thought process on how it can be, what kind of kits, what kind of materials. Should I have more than one kit or not? After that, I thought maybe if I have a scenario for the product, I can clarify it. And I made a scenario where you can buy the kit from a place like Koçtaş and take it to your home and use the materials to build your own furniture. Then I thought on different kits, and after that I thought it's meaningless. I can just have one kit because the materials doesn't actually use so much space. And I made a grid for layout for the box, kit box, and inside will be beams, screws, bricks, some hinges, plaster, some kind of wires, strings, and maybe expandables. I'm not actually sure on the expandables because not just expandables, like tools also are included here. I'm not sure about them right now. And in the box, I wanted to put an explanation for every single piece of equipment in there, so that the buyer, just like when making the gecekondu, doesn't have a building experience, so they will need to know what the pieces do and use them according to their needs or how they want to use them. And that is all for my presentation.
Okay. So I first started with the idea of not working on desks like specifically, because you don't need to work on a desk actually. Many people might not work on desks. So I wanted to do a desk that can be both a lab desk and the desk itself. But the project actually shifted from there. I also research about like ergonomic desk zones. So to what do we need in our desk, but in the area of like reach zones. So there's like different things that we do. Oh my god, did I close it? Okay, now.
Yes.
Can you see that? Okay. So what do we do on desk is actually differs from work to work or like person to person. We can do craft and drawing.
Right now, you are not sharing your screen.
So what do we do on a desk? It differs from person to person and work to work. We can do crafts and drawings. We can work on laptops or like read books or work with paper and writing. And it's actually transformed the project into, since the times that we are in right now, the like couple of months actually change a lot in the domestic environment in our houses. We have to stay in our homes and work from there. So this is not something new actually. The people like they work from home before that, but since the times are like this, they forced to be in home and work from there, and there's a lot of things that you can do on a desk. And can we make a modular desk that brings the craft, laptop, books and paper together and creates this modular desk that you can do anything on it, actually, yeah, craft wise.
Mm-hmm.
So like there can be full-on storage, lamp, like the light box or like cutting mat, all in one thing, all in one desk. Can this desk be done? So I tried sketching axonometric sketching to like combine them in one. And I didn't want to do a cabinet storage, so I tried different ways to store the items without adding some cabinets below the desk or above the desk. So there were some that I want to move forward, and I choose them like this one and this one maybe. So the whole lamp is like connected to the table, the desk itself. So it all like packs it all in one desk and presents you these things. Like it has light box in it, cutting mat in it, a perforated surface to put your laptop on, and like storage area for books or papers or like rolls of papers. I gathered many like sketches and choose the best ones for me. And it all like came to this one, but it can always change.
Çekmeceye ulaşmak istediğimizde aynı şekilde kaldırıp çekmeceye ulaşıp kullanmadığımız süreçte de kapatıp üzerine herhangi bir obje yerleştirebilme şansını veriyor. Dış materyalini aynalı bir şey olarak da düşündüm aslında ama ona karar verememiştim. O yüzden aynı şekilde plain olmasına devam ettim.
Başlayayım. American bar entering Turkey as representative of an American vulnerable lifestyle developed over time, eliminate the myths surrounding it and starts being dysfunctional and erasure, but it is the possible to have a furniture that will formally protect the heritage of the archetype, but use modern materials and details of today. Light and heavy and bulky furniture consider the needs of new housing in terms of content and house concepts such as hospitality, catering, and also objects that are unaccompanying them. Daha sonrasında daha hızlı zaman değerlendirmek için Türkçe konuşacağım. İzniniz olursa. Daha doğrusu yani öyle zorundayım. Öncelikle ben araştırmaya yakın çevremdeki evlerdeki büfelere bakarak başladım. İnsanlar alkollerini nasıl saklıyor, nasıl storage ediyor? Ya da işte alkollerini sakladıkları yerlerde alkol kokteyl hazırlama ya da işte orada ikramda bulunma var mı? Bununla alakalı bir çalışma yaptım. İşte yakın çevremdeki insanlara, yani alkol kültürü olan insanlara bunu sordum. Onların elinde eğer hani böyle bir büfe varsa aşağı yukarı kaç tane şişe saklıyorlar onu sordum. Hani bir hacim elde edebilmek için. Ondan sonrasında notlar aldım işte. Büfeyle alakalı önce bir mind map yaptım. Mind map'imde işte ne gerekiyor işte alkol büfesinde neler olabilir ya da işte kokteyl hazırlama sürecinde ne olmalı yanımızda işte onlarla alakalı bir map yaptım. Bu paylaşımı nasıl devam ettirebiliriz ya da daha etkin nasıl kılabiliriz onunla alakalı birazcık çalıştım. Bunlardan sonra aksonometreye başladım. Aksonometrikte biraz daha böyle hacimli şeyler tasarlamaya başladım ama böyle şişelerin tam ölçülerini bilmeden birazcık farazi kaldı çizdiğim şeyler ve aşırı derecede çok büyük boşluklar olmaya başladı çizdiğim şeylerde. Şişelerin, bardakların ölçülerini çıkartarak başladım. Şeklin yani benim ürünümün hacmini hesaplayabilmek için. Yani sizin hocalarının doğrultusunda yaptım tabii ki de bunu. Onlar yönlendirdi.
Yok,
Ve
yönlendirmedi.
sağ olsun Onur Hoca birazcık yönlendirdi.
Yönlendirmedi.
Yönlendirmedi mi? Neyse zamanından geçmesin. Ondan sonra detaylara baktım. Detaylar işte nasıl bardakları nasıl saklayabiliriz? İşte gereçleri nasıl muhafaza edebiliriz? Onun dışında işte buz kovası var. Buz kovasının içinde işte aynı zamanda hani bira gibi böyle soğuk içilmesi
3
gereken
dakikan
şeyleri
kaldı.
koymak için soğutabilir miyiz? Bunları araştırdım. Ondan sonrasında aksonometrik drawing'de final aşamasına geldim. Yani artık bu tasarımı benimsemeye başladım ve hala aslında ilk skeçte gördüğünüz gibi hani biraz daha böyle büyük hacimlerle çalışıyordum. Ondan sonra yavaş yavaş işin içine hani şişeleri ve bardakları katınca Dolayısıyla tasarımım da küçülmeye başladı. Objeleri listesini çıkarttım. Hani neler olacak? Onların tam anlamıyla ölçülerini buldum ve bunları 3D'de çizdim. Bir hacim kafamda yaratabilmek için. İşte 15 tane ağır alkol var, 6 tane normal var, şarap var şu an benim bulunan en son ürünümde. 6 tane tombul kırmızı şarap bardağı, 6 tane işte beyaz şarap bardağım var, 6 tane viski bardağı ya da kokteylleri ikram edebileceğim bardağım, 1 adet shaker, 1 adet jigger, 1 adet bıçak, 1 adet kokteyl şeyim. Bununla beraber bir tane buz haznem var, 3 tane yiyecek haznem var. Yani bunlara meyve ve işte vegetable için, işte bitkiler için, yani böyle ot dediğimiz şeyler için de böyle bir tane küçük bir alanım var. Nane ve onun gibi şeyler, çünkü kokteyllerde kullanılıyor. Araştırmamda buna vardım. Onun dışında bir hazırlama yüzeyim var ve gereçleri tutabilecek bir magnetik bir materyal tutucum var. Yaptım yani kendi çapımda. Bu render'ım. Materyal olarak metal ve wood kullandım. Ahşap kullandım. Boyutlandırma adına işte scale'lerini koydum. Normalde hani tek bir kişi ya da atıyorum kokteyl yapmadığın süreçte bu ikinci fotoğrafta gördüğünüz şey açılıyor ve ilk fotoğrafta gördüğünüz şey kapalı hali. Normalde bireyselken aslında buz ve işte bir adet yemek kabına erişim var. Aynı şekilde yemek kabı demem biraz yanlış ama işte meyvelerin olduğu yere erişimi var kullanıcının. Ama toplu bir kokteyl olduğunda ya da işte bir sürü malzemeli bir kokteyl olduğunda bu ünite aynı şekilde servis alanı hazırlama yüzeyi öne geliyor. Bu sayede de işte 2 tane daha yiyeceklerin storage
Parlarsan
edildiği
yavaştan.
buz var. Buzluğumuz artıyor. Detay olarak işte bu şeyin detayını bu şekilde verdim. Sol üstteki bu işte kepenk diye isimlendireceğim şeyin detayını bu şekilde verdim ve o açılacak kapağın detayını da aşağıdaki şekilde verdim. Menteşe tabii ki de değişebilir o. Şu an ilk bir tane alternatif olarak buldum. Teknik çizimimde kısaca anlatayım. 150 santim bir yüksekliğim var. Totalde 40 santim bir genişliğim var. 40 santim genişliğim olduğu için aslında yatay olarak şişeleri buradaki hani bu boşluklar da tamamen benim hani kararım olan şeyler değildi. Normalde bir şişe 30 santim olduğu için mesela onun erişimi olabilmesi için o boşlukları tanımladım. Ve hani daha rahat o şişeye ulaşabilsinler diye aslında oraları öyle belli bir noktada split etmek zorunda kaldım. Onu da söyleyeyim. Bunlar mock-up'larım. Evde kartonum olmadığı için Vogue'u kullandım dergi olarak. Onun dışında işte ikinci şeyim bu boyama yaptım. Ondan sonra bir tane daha böyle yaptım. Birebir de şöyle çalıştım. Birebir de ben normal olarak yüzeyi bir banttan bir şey yaptım. Hani benim sonuçta 70 santimlik bir genişliğim var. 70 santimi en rahat nasıl kullanabilirim? Nasıl şey yapabilirim diye banttan böyle kendimce masamda bir alan tanımladım kendim. Ve işte buzlu bu işte meyvelerin storage edileceği kapları, işte otun storage edileceği kapı ve açılacak yüzeyi bu şekilde kendim hani daha rahat algılayabilmek için böyle bir çalışma yaptım birebir de. Bu kadar.
I have a question for Idil and Kerem. So Idil, you were looking at the chiffonier. You were also looking at the other furniture related to the, let's say, home textile or inherited materials from the family. But at the end, you moved toward the furniture, which aims to kind of store everything, as you have said.
Yeah.
Why did you changed or kind of like destroyed your domain of objects and finished with an object that contains everything?
Because as I was researching at the time, not everybody has chiffonier. I saw that, and I was really obsessed with storing and gaining space from where it takes place. Yerden tasarruf edip birçok fonksiyonu ve birçok şeyi içinde barındırabilsin istedim. Yani o tüm amacım aslında hem store ederken hem de yer sorununu halletmekti. O yüzden sadece şeyden belli sınırlandırılmış bir şeyleri store etmesindense birçok şeyi özgürce insanlar kullanabilsin, bir şeyleri store etmek için kullanabilsin diye.
Kerem? So we were talking about how the American bar or the liquor cabinet is not exactly fitting to the Turkish context. So while we see a lot of development throughout your process from the idea to a finished product, we don't see much of an effort to make it fit to either to this new domesticity, the idea of new domesticity, or the Turkish context, like how is life organized or how is the hospitality occurs in the, let's say, Turkish house. Türkçe cevap verebilirsin.
Tam olarak cevaplayabilmem için bunu Türkçe'de sormanız gerekiyor galiba hocam, ama önce
Yani Amerikan barın ya da likör kabinetin tam olarak işte Türk kültürüne varsa eğer öyle bir şey uygun olmadığından dem vuruyorduk. İşte Amerikan bardaki o işte fazla showing off, işte aynalar, süsler vesaire vesaire. Sen ürünü geliştirmek için oldukça fazla çaba sarf ediyorsun ve o değişimi görebiliyoruz baştan sona kadar. Ama bunun işte bu yeni evcilik haline nasıl uyum sağladığı ya da o mütevazilik, sadelik vesaire konularında nasıl bir değişim getirdiğine, önerdiğine dair bir şey sanki çok yok gibi hissettim. 18 bardak olması bunun içerisinde bile bence o ürüne dair bir şey söylüyor.
Yani açıkçası bayağı hani süreçte çalıştım. Hani bunu nasıl daha iyi bir şey pozisyona getirebilirim diye. Ve hani elimden geleni yaptığımı düşünüyorum şu ana kadar bununla alakalı. Ama hani dediğiniz gibi hani belki de Türk kültürüne hani bunu tam anlamıyla zaten adapte etmemiz ne kadar mümkün açıkçası bilemiyorum. Ama e, yani ben şey de düşünmedim, yani direkt mesela Amerikan vari bir şey tasarlamaya çalışarak da yola çıkmadım ya da hani başka bir yerden esinlenerek de yola çıkmadım bunu yaparken. Yani tamamen kendime has bir şey yapmaya çalıştım ve hani sonuçta bulunduğum konum itibariyle ben burada yaşıyorum ve aslında burada bir şey üretiyorum. O zaman hani bir noktada bu bizim içimizden çıkan bir şey olmuyor mu? Ben onu yani karıştırıyorum sürekli.
Sen de bana soru sordun galiba. Soruya soruyla mı cevap verdin?
Ya aslında koptum, internetim koptu. Çok az bir yerden sonrasını yakalayabildim. O yüzden direkt böyle bir şeyle çıkış yaptım.
Yok, ben bir şeylerden esinleniyorsun, kopya çekiyorsun falan gibi bir şey demiyorum kesinlikle. Bu dönüştürme fazında tasarım kararlarını alırken kişisel kararlar daha çok göze çarpıyor. Dolayısıyla bunu bizim ana konumuza ilintilendirmekte biraz güçlük çekiyorum. İkinci sorun, yani senin sorunsa, yani sen yaptın diye Türk tasarımı olmuş olmak zorunda değil. Herkesin kendi kültürüyle ilişkisi ve şeyi farklı. Doğrudan öyle bir eşitleme yapamayız bana kalırsa.
Ama doğrudan sizin dediğinizi de yapamayız gibi geliyor bana buradan yola çıkarsak.
Peki.
Komple ürünün solid çizimi de var. Yani parça parça üretime hazır bir şekilde şu an. Bu işte oradaki yukarıda çıkardığım ölçülere göre yaptığım bir case. Burada işte atıyorum 127 olan yerde delgeç, zımba gibi şeyler koyulabilecek. İşte 175 olan yere işte kurşun kalemler gibi şeyler koyulabilecek. Şurada küçük bir göz var.
Arkadaşlar, please try to present in English even if you are not so competent in it. And your Englishes are not as bad as you think.
In first weeks, I looked at the materials and the shapes of the existing nesting tables. I put together the ones that I like the details or some examples in here in a Word document. And after that, I did some sketches, and my statement is my challenge is to design a Zigon which is made with compatible materials, considered details, and with spending proper design effort on the product. Yeah, basically, it's criticizing the existing Zigon examples. nesting table examples. I looked at previous details, like daha düşünülmüş ve these are my previous drawings. These were the latest ones. İlk önce böyle first I try to like
Your
look
first
up.
3 minutes is over.
Okay. Bauhaus'ta yapılan nesting table'ların materyallerine baktım bu sayfanın üstünde, onları yazdım. Their legs were from oak, yani meşe ağacı. Frames was kayın ağacı. And the top parts were glass. And after that I looked at the 1960'lardaki Alman side table examples. Tabii bunların materyali pek yazmıyordu. Sadece wood ve glass yazmışlar. Ama basically I look their materials or the birleşim details. Bu yaptığım bu çizim birinci sayfa, bu son olanlar. Bu ikinci, bu da üçüncü. Bunlardan I try to do some mock-ups. Mock-ups'larım da böyle devam etti. Biraz hızlı geçiyorum ama. Burada Wix kapağımı sacrifice'ladım. Bu da aralarından en beğendiğim olan, hoşuma giden bir tane side table örneği vardı. It has a adjustable height. Buradaki boyunu bunu çektiğimiz zaman yukarıya çıkıp ayarlayabiliyoruz. Bu tablası. Bu mock-up'ı da açacağım birazdan tekrar. Böyle 3 tane boyutu gibi oluyor. Bunu da yerleşimi olarak düşündüm, böyle altlarını koyup burada boylarını, yani burada 3 tane olmasının veya birden fazla olmasının amacı şey gibi, sonuçta ya birden fazla kişiye servis yapılırken şey yapılması gibi, kullanılması için, yoksa hepsinin boyları ayarlanabiliyor yani. Bu da tekrar mock-up'ı daha anlaşılır olması için.
Creating an environment for keeping the, like in the domesticity, to keep the memorabilia stuff, like which can like keep some memories in both visual and other ways. And like people are keeping their stuff in like hidden places or like inside, and I wanted to like make like both. First, I digged my own memory stuff in my house, and I wanted to like see the sizes and like if they're cards and papers and letters, or like if they're bottles or three-dimensional objects. From this road, I wanted to like make it its own shape, like the product structure. I thought like it can be on the wall, or it can be on the, like it can be attached to furniture, or it can be on the ground or hanged from the ceiling. And I wanted to try like different furniture or like product models to have to see the possibilities. First, I wanted to like there were my priorities, which are like it can be both keep two-dimensional and three-dimensional ways. It can be covered, fully covered. Bless you. It can be fully covered or like semi-covered or not covered at all. In like depends on the user. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking of like a middle table, which can be like in the middle of the living room or something, but then I like made some sketches on these, like in the purple one, and there would be some like covers which are opaque or semi-opaque or like glass, and then like I wanted to have them to have different sizes and different like volumes. I think of something like a stair, but like it would keep drawer, and which is convertible, such as like the caps or covers can be changed according
You
to
have
the
3 minutes left.
Okay. Then I tried, like I sticked on the like middle purple one, and I tried to do some mock-ups, which is still a middle table, or but which can separate it at the same time and can be together and like used as a whole or separate in like every corner in the house, which has like different heights or volumes or different like covers, which is hidden like or totally glass. And this is like how it can be separated and how it is not. And I wanted to solve the cover thing, like which can be changeable. There will be, of course, like I will decide the volume of it, but like if they want to use the like semi covered thing in a different volume, thin, they can be changeable. Or if they want to use the opaque one, it is according to the user. So I decide the volumes if it's 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional, but like they can decide to cover. And it was on the ground. Then, not with the effect of the jury, of course, I decided to do it on the wall as like hanged, like frames, and different sizes of frames, which can be like which can be like both in 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional. And there will be in a room on a plate which hanged, and they like first you put one in the middle, like which can use, and then with the magnets in the corners you add, like once you have a new memorabilia, you add the new frame, like you stick the new frame to the others, and then like it grows like a tree. This is how I want people to keep their memorabilia in 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional, hidden or not hidden, on their domestic environment.
Developing the latent or different uses of the chair in domestic life. So I start such as in like an food extension, coffee table, or like a step ladder. So I start with the making sketches. In my first initial sketch, I tried to make a structure work for like turning ladder or turning coffee table. In my first sketch, you can see that I try to make şöyle söyleyeyim, çok kısa Türkçe'ye dönüyorum. Arka kısımdan bir mekanik bağlantıyla bu dönüşümü sağlamaya çalıştım. But it's not reliable. It's not going to reliable structure in the end. Şöyle söyleyeyim. Sonrasında bu tarz bir forma doğru gittim. Bu daha çok böyle açılan bir sistemdi, slide sistem. Merdivene dönüşmesi için. Bu gördüğünüz soldaki aksonometrik çizimde bu arka kısmının şu bacaklarda ray gibi bir şey olup yine aslında bu boyacıların falan kullandığı merdivenler tarzında bir açılır sistem düşünmüştüm. Actually this one is like an old design. Then you will see I pick another one. So I reached this one, left one. It is like a foldable system, like turning the step ladder with folding. The usages of the chair in here. The top part, the top part of the bag has a recess, like for the stopping door, or maybe you don't has a lock in your room and you can lock yourself with this chair. Chair can turn ladder, step ladder, coffee table, and a door lock, and you can lock yourself. This is my first mock-up. In this one, arka kısımdan bir hareketle çözmeye çalıştım. Yani arka kısmını aslında merdivene dönüşmesini sağlamaya çalışmıştım. Ama bu tarz bir yaklaşım aslında strüktürel olarak sağlam olmayacağına karar verdim. Çünkü yani arkadan çıkmaya çalıştığınızda gerçekten de sağlam olmayabilir, yani durmayabilir ayakta. Ondan sonra işte bu dediğim şeye varmamın sebebi aslında bu sistemin çalışmayacağını anlamış olmamdı. Ondan sonra bu dediğim şu an gördüğünüz, yani sol üstte de gördüğünüz şeye ulaşmış oldum. Bu strüktürel problemlerden dolayı. Aynı şekilde ilk baştaki soldaki şeyde de aynı sorun vardı yani. Strüktürel olarak emin olamıyordum hiçbir türlü. Ondan sonra bu en son yaptığım maket. Bu makette aslında biraz daha niyetimi anlayabiliyorsunuz. Bu birleşim parçalarım aslında çok basit bir yani İngilizcesi herhalde butterfly hinge'dir. Yani Türkçe'de kelebek menteşe diye geçiyor. Aynı şekilde soldakiler de pinli vida diye geçiyor. Bu tarz bir yani kelebek menteşe kullanacağım konusunda eminim ama soldakiler konusunda da emin değilim. Bundan sonraki süreçte de değişebilecek tek şey, yani zaten şu an bu tasarım üzerinde çalışıyorum. Sadece arka kısmın belki yine böyle bir katlanabilmesi için, yani coffee table'a dönüşebilmesi için şuradaki gördüğünüz gibi bir şezlong mantığı ile çalışması üzerinde şu an çalışıyorum. Daha yani aslında birleşim parçalarını kolaylaştırmak, basitleştirmek adına. Onun dışında çok kısa bir videom var. Onu da hemen göstereyim. 10 saniyelik. Bir saniye, hemen video açmaya çalışıyorum. Şu an video gözüküyor mu acaba? Hayır.
Bütün ekranı mı paylaşman gerekiyor?
Direkt screen yapıyorum ama şu an olması lazım. Şu an görüyor musunuz videoyu?
Yep.
Tamam. Ya burada aslında videoda zaten çalışma prensibi aslında böyle. Şu an orta oturma gövde kısmı biraz evde bulduğum malzemelerle yaptığım için orantısız ama bu şekilde çalışıyor yani. Bundan sonra dediğim gibi yapacağım değişiklikler aslında sadece backrest kısmında olacak. Çünkü o dediğim bağlantı elemanını daha basitleştirmeye çalışıyorum. Onun dışında böyle. Zaten çok tanımlı bir proje benimki. Yani statement'ım da aslında biraz net. Böyle. Teşekkür ederim.
Okay. Thank you.
And windows are the openings that offers daylight. So according to these, I tried to write my statement. The multiple characteristic of daylight, both sunlight and skylight, affect the interior, thus living beings inside. Windows are interfaces between outside and inside, which absorbs daylight into the house. Daylight has constant motion with changing intensity. In this respect, we can use windows for different purposes, effects, experiences, parallel to daylight variability, designing possibilities of lighting, and I decide one of them. This is my first production first product drawings. It has 4 different materials. I thought all materials are folded and they can fill all window or some of, yani bir kısmını da doldurabilirdi. Yani bu şekilde tüm pencereyi kaplayan ve daha sonrasında bunu kapatıp diğer materyali açabildiğim bir ünite tasarladım aslında. 4 tane materyale karar verdim. Bunlardan bir tanesi kağıt, bir tanesi tekstil, bir tanesi de polikarbonat plastikti. Polikarbonat plastikte CD materyali. Diğeri de PVC, renkli PVC'lerdi. CD'nin ve renkli PVC'nin gölgeleri ya da işte etkileri bu şekilde oluyor. Bunlar da gözlemlediğim, bu da mock-up'ım. Bu CD materyali için düşündüğüm, yani değişken olduğu için ve opak bir madde olduğu için diğerlerinden farklı bir şekilde, yani düz ama yani yukarıya doğru açılabilen şekilde düşündüm. Ama CD olanı bu şekilde farklı, daha küçük parçaları var ve bunları da döndürebiliyorum diye düşündüm. Bu kadar.
I have a question for Enes.
Yes, Estra, go ahead.
Does it really have to be a door holder?
Sorry, can you say
Because
that?
like it has many functions, so like the door holder function is like, I think it is like
Too much?
It's not
One function
necessary.
too much.
Yeah.
Aslında o en basit olan fonksiyon, sadece bir oyuk var ve ayaklarının
Evet. Yani işte zaten bir sürü fonksiyonu var ve bence hani hem işte o diğer fonksiyonları çok iyi ve birbirine çok iyi adapte oluyor ama hani door function biraz onlardan daha uzakmış gibi geldi sadece.
Doğru olabilir yani. Ben sadece eklemek istemiştim. Çünkü ben evimdeki balkonun kapısını genelde hep şeyle tutuyorum. Sandalyeyle de tutuyorum.
Okay.
Yani kullanıma göre de yani belki de kendim öznel kullanımım yüzünden o tarz bir şeye gitmiş olabilirim.
I have two questions, one for Iram and one for Enes. I'll start with Iram. I just want to ask, on what basics did you eliminate your ideas? You saw different examples and started to forward with one idea, but you saw different examples. So, in what basics did you eliminate from the examples you saw?
Yani I looked at them and basically I list the features that I want in my nesting table and the features that I don't want in it. So I made a list and I compare them with the one that I like and put together in the Word document. Yani basically I compare the existing examples but with considered details and considered shapes and like all units, and I add them to my ideas. Yani anlatabildim bilmiyorum. Did you understand or do you have questions?
Did you understand denmez evladım. Have I made myself clear denir.
Oh, sorry. Have I made myself clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, my second question to Enes. Why is the mechanical connections not reliable?
Reliable.
Yeah.
What do you mean what saying reliable?
You said the mechanics.
Oğlum dövecek gibi konuşuyorsunuz.
Yeah.
What do you mean reliable?
I didn't say like mechanical connections is reliable. Like the structure isn't reliable as the last one. Yani,
why isn't it?
What isn't it?
Why isn't it reliable?
Why isn't
you said
it? Okay.
Mechanical connections are unreliable.
No, I didn't say that.
No?
No, I just said like the first. Let me show you. In the first sketch, like this axonometric and this one, like the structure is not reliable, not the mechanical part. Because this one is like as a structure, yeah, it's more came to me like more reliable. Yeah, it's about the physics.
I started with my statement, which was creating a stool that is so simple and like fundamental, so that it can be inviting as a stool rather than a different furniture piece. I am not limiting my functions, but I want my stool to be sat on, not just only used as a side table or something else. I made a field research and I still am doing a field research. These were the ones that interested me the most. And I started with sketching and like researching at the same time. I made some sketches of the stools I liked the most and the ones that came into my mind. I made some mock-ups, and after making some mock-ups and sketching some more, I decided that my stool seat was going to fit the human body in a way, like it was going to be curved inwards or outwards so that it can be inviting for sitting. And I made two different design, I have two different design ideas, which one of them is this one. It's like basically made for your popo, and it's curved inwards so you can sit on the stool, and it can look like a place where you were supposed to sit, so therefore you can go and sit there rather than putting some books on the stool. And this one is going to be like curved outwards. You can still sit on it in a hopefully comfortable way, but you can't like easily stand on it or put something else on it. Therefore, I made two different, these are the examples for sizing I found online, and these two are my main design ideas that I will go from. I will decide on one of them and then I will go with one of them, and that's it.
Balconies are the combinations of the outdoor and indoor living. It helps us to keep in touch with the outside, especially in this pandemic situation. Balconies are used for different purposes. We can say that it's an environment where different kinds of usage can take place, but these purposes can overlap sometimes in this environment. The aim is to prevent this overlap without the balcony losing its multifunctionality. I did a research on what do we do on the balcony, the activities, gossip, hang clothes, reading a book, organize events, peeping the neighborhood, rest, storage, sports, smoke, barbecue. And I look at the elements that are on the balcony: plants, seating group, chair, table, lights, cupboard, umbrella. And I made an observation about balconies. My friends sent their balconies pictures to me. The balcony that I choose for my product is like this one, like in a square shape, narrow and small. So I started to make sketches. I tried to combine the activities that we did on the balcony, like hanging clothes table, and the main aim was to saving space. I drew some benches and tables that are korkula takılan masalara baktım. Table'lara birazcık baktım. Ve işte genel olarak alandan save etmek için oturma grubunu seçtim. En mantıklı o geldi bana ve işte korkula asılan masalar çizmeye başladım veya işte üst üste oturabilen oturma takı ve işte masa. Benchler çizdim, işte masasının içine geçebileceği. Korkula asılabilecek bir sistem düşündüm. Küllük masa, işte minik barbekü gibi böyle asabileceğimiz şeylerin olabileceği bir sistem. En sonunda da buna karar verdim. Duvara monte olan bir masa, açılıp kapanan ve bunda işte hem en üst tarafta rafları mesela işte kullanıcı kendine göre, belki ihtiyacına göre değiştirebilir. Atıyorum işte bitki koyacaksa belki daha geniş tutar. Veya işte kupa falan koyacaksa boylarını değiştirebilir. Ayak kısmına belki işte kıyafet asılması için bir hanger koyabilirim. İşte storage için belki bir kısım olabilir altta diye düşündüm. Ve görünüşünden birkaç tane farklı şey çizdim. Ön görünüşünde variations. Ve buna belki aynı sistemde çalışan bir oturma birimi de olabilir diye düşündüm. Yine duvara takılı olan, işte istediğiniz zaman bir alanı boşaltabilecek takım. Bir de böyle bir çizimim var. Bu da yine açılıp kapanan bir masa. Şu taraftan açılıyor. İçinde de işte oturma birimleri var. İşte altı tekerlekli olabilir ve belki işte istediğim yere kurabilirim diye düşündüm. Bunlar da mock-up'larım. Mock-up'larım da şu işte ilk gösterdiğim tasarımın mock-up'ları.
Şu an.
Evet, berbat derecede dağınık.
Çok
görünüyor
fazla
öyle.
Üstüne çalışacağım şeylerin yani benzerleri değil, yani bu çerçevede ana proporsiyonlar olarak ilham almak için yaptım. İşte kolçak türleri olsun, var olan türlerin şeylerin olsun, arkalıkların olsun gibisinden. Ve ilk önce tabii nasıl üretilme aşamalarına baktım. Üretilme aşamalarının tekniklerinde kullanılan malzemeler, işte wood olsun, plastik, steel, genelde fabric kullanılıyor, köpük kullanılıyor gibi şeyler. Başlıca proporsiyonları gibi ve bunun üstünde kullanılan, koltuk üstünde kullanılan belli başlı birkaç teknik gibi, işte oyma gibi, kültürlere özel teknikler gibisinden. Bunlarda yaptığım başlıca kolçak araştırmaları, türlü şeyleri var. Şekillere göre değişen ülkelerin ismini alan. Skeçlere başladım. Ev içinde olan koltuklardan gitmeye başladım. Kendi evimden işte sorduğum insanların evinde olan şeylerin üstünde değiştirmeye başladım. İlk skeçlerim biraz daha böyle kaba gibisinden ve direkt formu çok azıcık değiştirip işte direkt iki insan üstünde olup karşılıklı oturtmak gibi. Bunlar da işte yavaş yavaş koltuk formunun dışına çıkıp koltuğun önemini, işte evin içinde en önemli şeylerden biri olan ve bu önemini tekrar göz önünde çarpıcı olarak göstermeye başlayan birkaç tane tasarımla başladım. Bunlar da onlardan bir tanesi. İşte şekillerini değiştirip oturma yerlerinin düz bir şekilden daha çok S şeklinde gibisinden ve körlü yapılar arasında. Bunlar genel skeçlerim. Daha değişik yapıda. Bu sefer de kolçakların oynatılıp işte yerlerin değişebildiği, kolçağın aynı zamanda yerine oynatılarak arkalık olabileceği veya hiç arkalık olmadan direkt koltuğu oynatarak oturma yüzeyini ve oturma sayısını, kapasitesini çoğaltabilecek şeklinden tasarımlar. Mesela bu tarafta gözüktüğü gibi raylı sistemlerle bir eksen üzerine gezdirilip ya düz ya da körlü sistemler gibi ya da arkasının yatıp kalkabilen, kalkınca arkalık olan, yatınca daha çok oturma alanının olduğu şekerlerin değiştirilip ya da oturma yüzeylerini ve yönlerini insanlar için değiştirilebilen şeyler gibi. Şu tarz skeçler kolçağın aynı zamanda çıkıp oturma yüzeyini artırmak için koltuğun başka bir yerine monte edebilen bir parça olarak da görmeye başladım. İşte burada arkalarını çıkarıp daha uzanmalık bir oturma yüzeyi gibi yapılması veya burada görüldüğü gibi işte 2 kişilik bir oturma alanıyken arkalığın aşağı doğru çevrilmesi ve 4 veya 5 fazlalık gibi bir oturma alanının yapılması veya buradaki kolçak gibi şey yapılarak kolçağın çıkartılıp ayak uzatma yeri gibi burada şey yapılması gibisinden. Bunlar da 2 tane beğendiğim gibi. Burada ters. İşte şuradan göstereyim, burada düz. Şu işte dediğim ayaklık ve bu oturma yüzeyinin arttığı şekilde. Sonra şeylerim var, mock-up'larım var. İlk mock-up'ım şöyle, kağıt üzerinden bu kolçağın işte değiştirilip farklı bir arkalığın değiştirilip farklı oturma yüzeyleri, doğrultuları yaratması gibi. Sonra burada yana almak gibi daha değişik bir kolçağa dönüştürülmesi, oturma arka sırt yaslamanın. Oyun hamurumla sonra formlar denemeye başladım. Bu gösterdiğim şekilleri yapmaya başladım. Mesela kenar şeyin çıkıp yani yan tarafından çıkıp böyle ayaklık olma olayını anlattığım şey burada. Farklı bir şeyle birleşip. Ondan sonra uzun bir mesela koltuğun 2 parçadan oluştuğu ve yan yana gelince böyle 2 ufak oturma yüzeyi gibi şeyleri yan yana insanları koyabileceğim gibi. Anlattığım arkalılık olayının çıkartılıp yönünü değiştirip oturma yüzeyinin artması gibi. Bu tarz denemelerim de vardı. Bu başlıca beğendiğim fikirlerden bir tanesiydi.
12.
Hayır, 13.
13 mü?
Evet. Smartass. Sıra sende.
Sunayım. Hocam bu bilgisayarın kamerasından başka hiçbir şey çalışmadığı için ikisini de kullanmak zorunda kalıyorum.
Nasıl yani?
Çok yavaş şu an konuştuğum. O yüzden
İki telefon mu kullanacaksın yani?
hayır, iki bilgisayar kullanıyorum aslında. Ama şu an buradan yansıtabilirim diye düşünüyorum. Yani buradan dizi falan izliyorum diye düşünürseniz öyle bir şey
Yok,
yapmıyorum.
hayır düşünmedim.
Ama yine de
Düşünsem de beni aksine ikna edebilecek bir cevabım vardır zaten.
hocam 10 puan kapmak isteyen yine de çabalayabilir yani.
Evet, işte. Biz kendi programımızda şey görüyoruz. Kendi yüzlerimizi görüyoruz.
Ha, o zaman
Sendeki
kapatayım.
bizim yüzlerimizi görmüyoruz. Kapatmana
Ha,
gerek
tamam,
yok.
bunu sormaya çalışıyorum hocam.
Heh.
Neyse,
Evet görüyoruz ama
başlıyorum.
senden ötürü değil.
Okumayayım statement'ımı bence. Yani
Okuma.
yani mutfak hep böyle bir yemeklerin yapıldığı böyle bir alan ve hani böyle aslında birçok tool var içerisinde. Hep aslında yani öyle bir yer olarak görülüyordu. Ve hani bu süreci yani böyle bir laboratuvar gibi falan ve bu süreci kolaylaştırmak için aslında mutfağın içerisindeki düzenleyicilerin payı yani bence çok büyük. Çünkü her şeyin ulaşılabilir yerlerde olması falan yani bu süreci kolaylaştıracak şeyler kesinlikle. Ben de şu an mevcut olan ve kullanılan düzenleyicileri kullanarak mutfak yani tek bir mutfak ürünü yapıp onun içerisinde toplayabilir miyim diye düşündüm. Bana yazıyorsunuz sandım da. Daha sonra şöyle mutfakta neler depoluyoruz diye biraz baktım. Ve aslında yani böyle seramikten yemeğe kadar birçok farklı şey var yani mutfakların içerisinde ve hani hepsini tek bir alanda toplamak ne kadar kolay olabilir falan yani hani nasıl toplayabiliriz de yani bunlara biraz işte araştırmak istedim. Daha sonra bunları nasıl depoluyoruz diye baktım. İşte yani bunları tek tek böyle incelemek istedim biraz ki hani tek bir üründe nasıl birleştirebilirim bu depolama yöntemlerini diye bakmak için. İşte tavaları asmamız veya işte böyle bulaşık makinelerinin içindeki gibi böyle yatay bir şekilde raflar düzenleyip şeyleri, tabakları yerleştirmemiz ya da böyle işte terek mesela eski zamanlarda daha çok kullanılıyor bile olsa aslında yani çoğu evde yani karşılaşabiliyoruz hala ve bayağı aslında kullanışlı bir ürün yani. Onu inceledim ya da böyle işte tuvalet kağıdı diyorum peçeteleri, böyle havlu kağıtlar falan. Kendi seçimlerimin ne olduğuna karar verdim. Aslında yani burada karar verdiğim birkaç şey vardı yani. Ben ilk başta buradaki ürünlerden hangilerini kendi ürünümde yani buradaki malzemelerden hangilerini kendi ürünümde bulunduracağım ve aynı zamanda buradaki storage tekniklerinden hangilerini kullanacağım ve bunları aynı zamanda da birleştirmem gerekiyordu. Öncelikle burada bir şeye yani bazı şeylere öncelik vermiş oldum yani aslında ama tamamen aslında yani kendi ürünüme dair verdiğim bir karardı yani bu. Tepsi veya böyle kesim matları için ilk baştaki gibi bir şey yani böyle çekip alabildiğimiz bir şeyimin olmasını istedim. Ya da böyle patates, soğan gibi şeyleri depolayabileceğim çekmecelerin, tavaları asabileceğim bir çekmece ve aynı zamanda böyle aslında biraz daha kişiselleştirilmesine insan yani kullanıcının kişiselleştirmesine açık bir ürün tasarlamak istedim. O yüzden böyle dördüncü gibi bir çözüm kullanmak istedim yani. Daha sonra bazı şeylerin ölçülerini aldım ve sonra kendi ürünümün ölçüleri oluşmaya başladı böylelikle. Çünkü yani nasıl yerleştireceğim, nerelere koyacağım falan böyle şeyler için önemliydi bayağı. Böyle bir ürün yani tasarlama karar verdim. Üstteki böyle karşımızdaki duvar yani böyle noktalı panel sayesinde ve böyle pinler
Pegboard deniyor ona.
sayesinde aynen pegboard deniyormuş. Pegboard sayesinde böyle istediğim yerlere böyle işte şeyleri asabiliyorum.
Hı-hı.
İşte yani böyle ne denir Türkçe şeyini unuttum bir anda.
Tools.
Cooking utensils işte mutfak malzemeleri oluyor. Onları
Hı-hı.
böyle asabiliyorum ya da işte kendi kişisel raflarımı oraya monte edebiliyorum.
herkese aslında nasıl kullanmak istediğine dair o üst panoyu tanımış oluyorum aslında kullanıcıya. Altları zaten anlatmıştım. Yine burada aynı şekilde functions olarak yer verdim onlara da. Maket yaptım. Böyle işte açıldığında çekmeceden alabiliyorum.
The first idea of my design was in order to save time and to make much of our everyday objects to get them up one place and combine them so that they can all work with each other. This shall, as I said, take time and get me to use them more efficiently. So I started by just dividing what do we do every day on our technological objects, just seeing and observing how do we use them. And then started to draw them. And my main object here is the screen, is the big screen, which they can all connect to it in order to switch from one to the another. This can be done by remote controls or by cables, as it will make it easier. Afterwards, I just saw some examples in order to see these technological devices, how do they combine. This is not mine. This is an example which I saw, which just has so many media sets and media devices which can be worked on. Then I started by having some rules for my media station or some object combines all of them. So I started, but my very important rule is that I divided them upon their needs to be seen or not in the scenario of the usage itself. So I divided these objects. There are some control devices like my mouse and keyboards and stuff like this, which I use, and I don't really need to see them in my scenario. And there are some objects which are very essential to be seen, like the monitor, like the tablets, like things which I need to see in order to interact with. Then I started having some rules for the media set which I designing, which would enable me to use them. However, I must focus on what I'm using right now. And if I needed something else, I can switch to it easily. So I started having some shapes like this L shape, which I can switch between them easily. For example, I can be focusing here, and whenever I want to switch, I will switch there. And the arc shape, which have the center of focus in front of me, and the rest are out of my vision scenario. And then there are the third layer, which is a very bottom layer, which I can put on the objects which I really use right now. If they can be easily accessible, however, they are not in my vision scenario, they're just beneath me, and I can use them without the need to see them and without the need to take space from objects that I really need to interact with. And then I started having some sketches in order to place. I started by designing them. My way of designing was in order to see how would each object fit in its place first, and combine each and every design to get at the end the result I want for the unit itself. So I started designing here, for example, the space for receivers and consoles and shelves and stuff like that. So I started having some sketches, and I would choose from them afterwards in order to reach to what I want. Before doing that, I just wrote a list of objects which would be used in my media station. After all of that, I just have reached to just choose some of them in order to choose some of my sketches here. For example, for the monitor, which is the most important object, I choose this, which we can see here in the object itself, where the main monitor is at the center and the center of vision and directly in front of me, so I can see it easily. I choose the spaces right in here in order to put my CPU and shelving stuff. I choose the just the bottom shelf idea here, sketching it here to put my mouse and keyboard on it, and there would be an empty place just to put any other device which is not used, something like the joysticks, the headsets while not in use, and things like that. And so I started by rendering some examples here in my device, where this would be the scenario used in it. As seen, there is the this would be directly in front of me. However, there's the laptop, which is just in the same level of me. So the monitor will be just in front of my head so that I can see it and interact with it. It's the main object right there. And the rest is just flowing around. I can use them at any time I want. And these are the devices which are in the visible scenario, which I need them. And then there are these devices which are not in my visibility scenarios. Here are, for example, the devices which are not in use, and here are the objects which I use them, but somehow they don't affect my the way I interact with the other devices. This is the whole unit as in the room render.
So when you were explaining your design decisions, you were saying that you intentionally didn't want this object to be used as another for another function. So like you change the surface treatment and like add some features like we cannot so that we cannot put books on them, for example, right? Why? Like, was this an intentional choice where you like deny certain functions, like you don't put these affordances into the product? I mean, this could have been done in different ways. For example, you can say, I'm ignoring these other uses, so I'm not doing anything for or against them. Or you can act, as you said, thinking about these extra functions and trying to prevent them. Was that a conscious choice? And if yes, why?
Like a few months ago, I wanted my stool to be only used as a stool, and my statement was according to that. But after like few classes, I decided that it won't limit functions, but still can be used as a stool. And for example, I would want to use it as a stool more than I want to use it as a side table, but I'm not preventing any functions. If you want to like put books on it, you can still put books on it, but that's not my intention. But the one which is like curved inwards, and it won't fall down, but the other one, yes, it might. But why should I like worry about other functions because it's a stool? It's made for sitting. It's not my intention to like limit any other functions, but
Question for Ali. You have done lots of sketches, but like one thing caught my attention is that although your project involves sociability and communication in the domestic environment, none of your sketches and notes including anything about that. And you almost entirely focus on the technical aspects of like parts moving or opening and closing. Does this mean kind of a conflict with your statement, or is there, I mean, were you aware of this, or?
Hocam biraz aware'im aslında, çünkü şöyle, bu sociality achieve'lemeye çalışırken aslında tekniklere çok takıldığım için hani onun üstüne yoğunlaştım, biraz ön içinde kaybolmuş olabilir. Ama amacımdan sekmedim aslında, öyle gözüküyor gibi olsa bile. Onu işte ilerleyen şeylerde bu seçtiğim tasarımlar üstünde geliştirerek o şeyi sağlamaya çalışacağım. Yoksa farkındayım.
Okay. Did you facilitated like features or good attributes of the previous examples in your? Have you incorporated them into your product? Things you have found in your research. Are there anything which is like taking from these previous examples, or is this kind of an entirely new concept and product?
Yani araştırdığım düzenleme tekniklerini bence kullandığımı düşünüyorum. Ama zaten yani konuşmadık deyin diyorsunuz ama yani tamamen bırakmaya karar vermiştik. Yani ilk başta Hoosier Cabinet olarak ortaya çıkmıştı ama daha sonra aslında buna yer vermenin çok da doğru olmadığına karar verdim. Previous examples diye ondan bahsediyorsanız.
The life in the kitchen, organizing kitchen, the cooking practice is something which interested the designers and architects for about like 150 years now. So they have produced lots of different products or interiors for that, like including the Frankfurt kitchen, the model houses, the Hoosier cabinet, as you looked at. So our concern was that your product was going to be something that looked too much like a Hoosier cabinet. But my question was not stylistically, but in means of function and utility. is there anything you have borrowed from these examples?
Sonuç olarak kendi başıma ürettiğim düzenleyicileri kullanmadım yaptığım üründe ve o yüzden sonuç olarak yaptığım araştırmaların sonucunda bulduğum düzenleme şeylerini kullanmamış mıyım yani sizce, anlamadım.
Questions are
Hayır
questions.
hocam,
Öykücüm,
bazen
yani questions are not attacks. I'm not saying I'm not a question. My question does not have a positive or negative connotation. I'm just asking so that maybe you can say, for example, that you are looking at the traditional Turkish kitchen and using some of its elements.
bahsettim diye hatırlıyorum ama bahsetmediysem kullandım, evet.
Heh, tamam. Thank you. Ne ya? 5 kişi kaldı zaten, bitireceğiz.
6
kişi kaldı. Bir şey değil.
Actually, about our experience, all we live now, we all are at home these quarantine days with our family, maybe pets or friends or suppose. And in this period, I don't know why, but I feel more uncomfortable in online presentations. It's really different from the normal living order, and we have to change something, and we need more our private space. First, I started with what's privacy, what are these activities, and I made the list with them. The important thing in this page is the textile structure. This is two of my friends' project. This is textile structure, and I'm planning to use this kind of structures. After those, I made trials at home that I can create my personal space in the design process, and I started to sketch. I had 3 different groups. First one is the installed wall, pillar, or shelf, and these are my also trials. The second one is using curtain, tulle, or carpet, and the last one is self-stand furniture, and I choose asymmetric shapes, and I continue my sketch with them. I change my trials, and I search average shoulder width or average sting height, and I made a trial with real dimensions, and yeah, I checked what's the highest. I can see what are you doing when you're sting on this kind of things, and this is my real dimension trial. Okay, Sobe is my product. Sobe. And here is my statement again. And the important part is how it works. Sobe has 2 stage usage scenario. Of course, first step is not to be disturbed by others. The form of Sobe leaves you to decide whether to be involved in the conversation in the room, or if you turn the long face into people, they will understand you don't want to talk, and also they can't see what are you doing when you're sitting. And if you turn to the short
The
face,
animals?
No.
Other
also
people.
Other people. Yeah, I want to use...
Because it won't work with the animals, especially cats.
Yeah. I want to use meraklı faces, curious faces. I thought it's funnier than human faces.
Okay.
And when you turn the short face into people, they can see what are you doing, and they can understand you want to talk, you can talk with them. And the second step is, if still is not enough, you can go step 2. You can completely hide yourself with the textile structure. I mentioned about the research part, coming out to the hidden part in the short face, and you can hide yourself totally. And this is my model. These red parts are polyester fabrics. It was also my research topic. And these parts are plywood, and this part is curtain, my textile structure part. And this is the place. And my dimensions. That's all. Thank you for listening.
Umutcan.
We know that sometimes people want to create free time for themselves, and in this free times they produce things they normally buy, and they want to produce their own appliances sometimes. I want to make it know about that, to produce these more sincere, sustainable, simple way, and avoid from unnecessary high-tech features. First of all, I want to know what are those, and I created a list which is from a research phase, and I want to know about their replacements and how are they working, and where do we locate them and their function. After that, I started to know more about that. What are those things, and how can we use that in our homes, and what is the important things about these ones. I wanted to create a graphic about by using them, and wanted to know their mechanical and electrical working principles. After that, after I understood their mechanical and electrical working principles, I wanted to create some sketches by thinking the ergonomics. Like first of all, my grandma using her gırgır by sitting on the carpet, and sometimes we eğiliyoruz by using this gırgır or other electrical süpürge, and some other things like tüy toplayıcı or something else by cleaning the dirt have handles. It is in itself. These are my other research phases, design research phases, and I did some sketches by to understand how it works and how could I work differently. Like there are some blenders or choppers working like this one by rotating, or süt çırpıcı or kavanoz açacağı can be other examples to say that. And finally, in this week, I tried to understand and create a design, the last design. I have opportunity. One of these, it's all mechanical working principle. It has all working by mechanical things. In this one, I use 3 dişli, and by 3 dişli, I created a rotational working principle, and I use as a blender. Okay, I use as a blender. My other and more important than one is that one. I want to understand actually all appliances have belirli machines like fan or heater or something else, and they did same works by telling people we don't do same things. First of all, I want to use same things by using these things for working in other places. Like I can use toasters heating by using fan to using ısıtıcılı fan can use. Or I want to create something else like this. I can use fan with heater or without heater, and maybe I can use heater with fan and it can create a hair dryer. And we don't. Do we have to use hair dryer by handle? Maybe no. I want to understand what it is by creating this. The last design that I do, it's hard to see that, but I can show it in my mockup. I use that as a heater itself. It only has a heater, this one. But if I use fan with this heater, it can create a hair dryer itself. But if I use humidifier, if I put it water and essence in itself, it can create a humidifier. And if I use pot on it, it can create a water heater. And only one heater creates a simple but different types of working principles. And for material, I think if I want to use wood, it can be bamboo tree or palm tree because it's resistant to fire. But I can also use glass jar or ceramic for the heater one.
Atakan, by the way, we are joined by our students and fellow graduates.
Many of us have a domestic shrine that we keep in our space. Some prefer to present it, while others prefer to store or hide it. However, when the objects are presented, the amount of received information is related with the presentation of objects. The elements that drove these limits of receiving information are the memories we prefer to remember and the units we use to display memorabilia. Our display methods are similar in context but different in content, which means we use the same types of display units, but the representation of these signifiers are different according to the user. So my question is it possible to display the movements with all their realities in a display unit cooperating with enactment of objects regardless of good or bad scenarios? I'll go week by week, and first week I made decisions and guiders for me to draw a way to understand and draw the limits for me to understand some design elements. At first week, in order to have an idea about the content of a display unit, I have observed how the objects owned by people in my area and around me are presented and positioned within the area. The main purposes, these objects were initially blended with the idea of a monolithic unit that can be edited by the user and provide various presentation methods. So I did research on various presentation methods. Accordingly, I prepared various display frameworks. So as you can see, I've taken pictures of my own house, how the objects are presented and located in different rooms. So I'm just going to pass through them. As I mentioned, I tried to make a picture slider puzzles which can be customizable and including different frameworks, but then I decided that I don't have to think that much of a user in that sentence, and so I needed to make it more. So I made a list of memorabilia, miscellaneous objects that we both traditional and could be objects that from outer cultures, foreign cultures. So week 2, the coexistence and placement of objects and idea in the user are the forms of expression of a real or self moment. So I did simple research on the psychological side of this topic from Andrew Jones' Memory, Material, and Culture to get the basic understanding of how this idea came about. I didn't get too much deep in it, but I need to know how people observe and create their realities by, through these objects. In this way, I had a systematic knowledge of this approach to objects and their relation to the user. In this process, I also did a research on how both traditional and external cultures, such as Japan, Latin America, and India, constructed domestic shrines, which later took the title of my project, and how they relate between objects. I wanted to go by the objects because the objects actually decide what kind of a presentation units that we need. I'll just go past them. And I've decided on felt more closer to the Tokonoma shrine, which is a Japanese style of shrine which aims to create simplicity and particular focus point in the space. This simplicity is still debatable, but I want to create a focal point in the space that will bound the user to the display units. And I also made research about abandoned objects, slow art collective, tried this at home. As you can see, there is an example of, so these are the reference links if anyone's interested. So the presentation units we are familiar with generally may support the coexistence of objects. I'll just shorten it. We need to create a coexistence of objects because most of the objects are make us receive the information object by object, which doesn't create a scenario or momentary stories in our head. They're just objects that stands for no information, actually. So I needed to create a scenario, a coexistence of objects that will, and the display unit that will support this idea. So I drew and I drew and I drew. I wanted to focus, as I said, focus on the objects, their physical attributes, their behavior, and whether they're 3-dimensional or 2-dimensional. So last week, where things get serious, if the objects are evaluated
Your
separately.
time is almost up, by the way.
Okay, I'm almost finished. According to their types, the physical structure can be associated with the need of offers such a type of suggestion that can carry the format of these objects. Will it be hung, mounted, or standing? So I made various mock-ups that will support these objects typologies. Some of them are just including singular objects such as textiles or maybe standing tabletop frames and wooden bars to make us kuru kumaşları asmak üzerine. So I made variety of display units, which is this one is a sticky one. I wanted to focus on that mockup more because it had more methods of displaying units, which is more compound than the others. So I made weird.
Wrap up, please?
Yeah, of course. I'm just passing through these drawings. Then it became this one as my final decision. It needed to be present itself to the user. It needed to give that feeling to the user, and it actually supports. I believe that how it supports the idea. There's the variety of display methods in the mockup itself, which is actually these are hinged, and there's a title wrap jump metal profiles to and wooden joints, screwed metal plates. That's just the basic information about the technicality of my product. And this is the scenario, kind of a basic scenario, how it's placed in the room. It's more of a cornered mock-up, a cornered product actually, because I also made a research about and made trials about how can these units be placed in rooms, but I decided to be in the corner. So as you can see, this is the relation to the human body and techniques that are shown in the scenario of this placement usage.
Damla?
My statement is a domestic information center for storing and recalling analog and digital forms of information collected which enable user to transform one state to another. Usually the bookshelves are just used for, they first of all came up to as archive and categorize books. And then when it comes to inside homes and personalized by the user, it's turned into a display unit, sort of a exhibition center. So my main aim is that to just focus on an information center that only stores information in any sort of mediums. It can be analog or digital, and this center is also can transform analog to digital and digital version of information to analog state as well. My presentation just has a small gathering that I collected over the semester. So this is all the things that I came up with to put on bookshelves. That is based on my research and domestic research and bookshelf research as well. This is the mind map that I presume that we can put to our information center unit. So I made some scenarios over the semester, and you can see the sketches that how the forms actually evolve. Here's some of my scenarios that I care the most. These are my first semi-axonomic drawings that clicked my mind, and then I made a mock-up about that by spaghettis, and actually that helped a lot because when I made a mock-up, I can see that where to put books or vinyl records and everything as a black and white unit sort of. Then I searched for some measurements to go along with the houses and the accessibility and how to manufacture it actually. So this is my model. This is my design phase presentation. So this is my last mock-up. Very elementary, very primary things that I combined, like a vinyl, a bookshelf that just holds some books and encyclopedias. And I made a sound and voice record unit that has 2 screens. This is where my mouse is actually. This is the human-sized drawings. This is my facial kind of drawings, because I have 4 faces that a person can go around all over the place. So this is the face A, and I have my dimensions and little transparent drawings of vinyls and records and books. There is a computer that aims to easy to transform one state to another. This is my B face unit. I have my dimensions, and this can all can change into the person's use actually. I wanted to be a unit that creates its own space, so I rather not have so much elements where this belongs. And here's my some joining details, my materials. I wanted to be just simple as possible to access to people, like so easily and so cheap actually. That's why I'm planning to use OCD and L-shaped aluminum or iron metal units.
We have Müge next.
My research subject was about the sleeping and the bed, as you know. This concept came from our critics, which is not given from yours. Also, it structures my concepts. To sum up, my challenge was about the bedroom existence and bed sizes connection between comfort. Here are some examples. These are my inspirations. The areas we sleep are no longer limited to the bedroom or even the bed. People are familiar with the word comfort. Comfort is an entirely personal phenomenon. It cannot be mass-produced. Sleeping furniture that are constant and the physical comfort conditions expected from there are questioned. Do we really need about 2 square meters of furniture for a comfortable sleep? My first primitive sketches are here. I started with the Donald Judd's single day bed, follows the other improvements about this. I just tried to create a sleeping places which gives us a privacy both and compact bed. These are my sketches. In context, the mock-ups, the previous sketches. These are my another sketches, mock-ups. And this is my last sketches and last mock-ups. This is my final product, and this is my research about the hinge types. Also, I tried on my home, which is I already have this hinge. And I saw some problems about the connection between the plywood, thickness. I think it should be engraved on the plywood, and I explained the last sketches on production details. I should use piano hinge, which is boydan boya. The new idea comes. The mattress will be separated 2 parts.
3 minutes.
And 2 parts. And when we don't use the mattress or when we don't sleep, we should put it under on the stomach, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all about the production details, joints, hinges, and dimensions. I research about the dimensions based on the real things. Length and işte uzunluk 1.70 length, eni de 70 santim olacak şekilde precise edip baş kısmına da bir adet, ya ben niye çıkıyorum beceremiyorum, precise edip baş kısmına da bir döşeme koyup son hali aslında.
Bengi, shall we start or some unintended results will come out of it? But you should, in the first place, as the designer, should put this object in context, see how it looks, you know. One other observation I have was that there was, more than previous semesters or seasons of domesticity, there was too much focus on the shape of things themselves. How will this thing look like? I mean, it is almost unnatural because it does not kind of follow an organic development where these outer factors we were talking about, were shaping that object. It was visible in Ali's project until he becomes too fixated on the technicalities. More or less visible in Müge's project. It is very visible in Demet's project. Although we can argue whether the final shape is good or bad. I mean, this is just an aesthetic discussion or debate. Then we can really see how it kind of organically developed from shape to shape and then arrived at a kind of a final conclusion. Also, Buket's Öykü has a different type of, followed a different type of path. I think hers is neither developing organically nor focusing too much on the macro form, but she has this blank space in her mind, and not like boş kafalı demiş gibi oldu. Like this place for her product, for her furniture. And then she is looking at stuff. She's looking at the Hoosier cabinet and the Turkish kitchen and all these things for like holding plates, hanging stuff and so on. Almost like taking fragments from different movies or different books whatsoever. She takes these fragments and brings them together in her product. So I might say she does not have an obsession with her final shape. It's kind of an assemblage of different forms. But other than that, other than these like several examples, I would say there's this heavy focus on the shape itself. And one last thing, I think you could be more aware how powerful your statements are, how powerful a statement is when it's really short and really focused, because it seems that, again, more like the half of the project have forgotten what they were saying in the first place, what they were claiming in the first place, what the important thing was in their statement, and started to find almost a new brief, a new northern star to guide you. But the simplicity of the statement, the argument, is what makes products more powerful. It's not about multifunctionality. It's not about beauty of the shape. It's not about how much this thing can store or how many objects it can incorporate. Because at the end of the day, there is really no reason to produce any of these objects, right? Can say, let's spare some wood and just don't do it. To be able to want it to be produced, except you, of course, you want your objects to be produced, but for others also to be excited about them, to see its results. These objects should do more than just solve problems or be multifunctional. I should be excited about, here's the statement and here's the proposed object. Let's produce this and see like how much that designer could come to that statement, whether it should fulfill that, because all these other stuff, the physical attributes or functions or affordances, I know I can achieve them, I know I can produce them, and they don't really excite me at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Have you understand Öykü?
This is more like a NS.
Evet.
Anladın mı? Girdi mi kafana?
Girdi hocam.
Aa, iyi.
Enes'in şeyi gibi oldunuz. Neyi denir? Tehdidi gibi.
Aferin.
So that's all from me. Make sure you send your grades as well. We will give you, we will pick the final 8, final 10 whatsoever. But then this doesn't mean you cannot work on your either research or design phases. Things you think is missing, please make sure you make up for them until we have the final meeting.
Nereye yollayalım notları?
Efendim canım?
Nereye yollayalım notları?
Upload it into design phase.
So can we work on our final forms or products through in this time lapse?
Yes. The thing is, I think we are not really allowed to have a real design jury at the 22nd. They said it's too early, but I propose to do it anyways. Yes, Boğaçan, exactly. Let's do it anyways and finalize it before you go to Bayram, into Bayram phase. If required, we will have a additional final jury after the Bayram as well, and see how are things with coming back to school, whether we have time or availability for manufacture, the falan and the filan. Let's say your final grade will be given at the 22nd. Have a nice Friday and the 1st of May, or party at home. Cheers and thank you.
We thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you Tuesday.
Thank you, Dan.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Speech was very helpful for us to, I guess, understand the issues.
Thank you, Atakan'cığım.
Thank you.
Üzerine müzik.
I was playing mandolin. Yeah, şunu kaptırdım sanırım. Mandolin çalıyordum aslında bir ara ama hani herkese dinleyip not alabilip numaralandırmak için bırakmak zorunda kaldım işin başında. Çiçekçilik yapmaya çalışıyorum. Yani çiçek öğrenci olmaya. Neyse hocam iyi hafta sonları.
Teşekkürler size de. İyi oldu yaptığınız, nereden çıkardınız?
Bence de.